There's been this huge rise and increasing popularity in this conversation about plant medicine for entrepreneurs. And you might be wondering, Eric, what's plant medicine? Or why should I be eating these weird mushrooms or drinking this crazy brew and puke in the middle of South America? And from what I found, it's been a beautiful tool that can be used to help you grow and develop as a human, but it's a beautiful tool that needs to be used wisely. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story in plant medicine. So stay tuned and we're going to talk all about the good stuff. Hey, what's going on? My name is Eric and I like to call myself the modern mystic. And I am all things when it comes to modern finances, spirituality, mindset, life, and all that good stuff. Now, you might have been like me, looking around and trying to find things on how to improve yourself, either through self-development, through going to seminars, reading books, listening to podcasts, all of those things. You might have hit a plateau or point where you couldn't really develop any further than what you were really at. And if you're at this point, you might have heard on different podcasts or seen on Instagram or Facebook this conversation about plant medicine. And you might have heard words like magic mushrooms or ayahuasca or psilocybin. And I wanted to just kind of share my experience with it, why I utilize it in my regular practice to help me grow and develop as a person, to maybe give you some insight on how it could potentially be used in your particular situation. I want to be totally clear, I am not a doctor, I am not a health expert, I am an entrepreneur that runs a great accounting practice, and I help entrepreneurs like yourself become the best version of a human that they can be. And plant medicine is one of the things that I've utilized for me and my tribe. But that being said, it might not be for you. It's not for everybody. And I want to make sure that we're all abundantly clear that at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it is something that will be a positive experience for your body, your psyche, and your emotional capacity. So anyway, my experience with plant medicine started years ago, hearing on a Tim Ferriss podcast, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, talking about his journey with ayahuasca. And it was always something that was always curious to me, but I never really had the ability to figure out where to get it done at or to participate in utilizing Aya. Plant medicine is kind of like a thing that when it's your time, it will call to you. And I'm not the kind of person that utilizes plant medicine on a recreational basis. That's not how I do it. I don't go to a nightclub or a music festival and drop psychedelics and have a good time. Although I could, that's not how I like using it. I particularly utilize plant medicines in a very sacred ceremonial format. And that will be a kind of recurring theme in the next couple of videos about how to set up your own ceremony for your own self-practice utilizing plant medicine. I came across a ceremonialist who ended up being a facilitator that facilitated DMT, which is an NN-DMT, or the plant version of it that came from the acacia tree. It's also fondly known as Yorema, or the Queen of Leaves. And at this point in time was a really interesting point in my life. This is post-divorce. I was trying to figure out a lot of my emotional boundaries, a lot of my emotional barriers. I was emotionally detached. I wasn't able to express my emotions, and I was trying to figure out what that next level of life was to be. I've done all the things, joined all the masterminds, invested in seminars, workshops, podcasts, coaches, all those things, but I just couldn't get past this specific point in my life. So anyway, I utilized DMT in the ceremonial aspect with a guide and a shaman and a ceremonialist, and it really opened up this next boundary of emotions. And what I've come to find, and I've been practicing on a regular basis, utilizing plant medicine, what I've come to find is plant medicine is a tool. It is not your quick fix, solve all your problems type of tool, but it is a tool. It's a modality like therapy, like yoga, like breath work, like meditation that can be utilized to help you remember who you are supposed to be, help you remember what you're put on earth to do, and help you remember things that you need to work on. That is really, at least in my experience, the core root of plant medicine. It's a remembrance tool, a tool to help you remember. And what it allowed me to do is start to get in touch with my emotions, start to really get in touch with who I am as a person, and started to help me get in touch with self-love. And I still remember months after my first DMT journey, being in a business mastermind around a group of friends, and out of the blue just start crying and start expressing emotion, which I haven't been able to do for a long time. So plant medicine is something that you can utilize once or twice or however many times you want to utilize it, but the effects that it may have on you can last for a while. So that was my first encounter with plant medicine. That was with DMT in a guided ceremonial perspective. A couple years later, about a year or two ago, I tried different other substances like psilocybin, which is magic mushroom. People fondly call it magic mushroom, but it's a beautiful feminine spirit, right? And so that has helped me understand certain like inner child journeys that I've had, traumas that I needed to process and work through. I've also utilized in other contexts a medicine called sassafras, which is another psychedelic tool that can be used. And this one is more like an MDMA, almost like can be used as a party drug. In my aspect, it made me more conversational. It allowed me to start flowing into motion more without feelings of judgment. And so what's really interesting is, again, these are utilized as tools to be used and be taken in a sacred context. I do not recommend utilizing any of these tools in a party, recreational context at all. Although you could, I personally feel strongly that these are to be used as a tool to help you grow and develop as a person. And with that, you need to do certain things. You need to have a good diet. You need to set intentions. You need to figure out what your integration process looks like after utilizing the plant medicine. How are you going to integrate what you've learned and experienced in your life? So those are the things that I started realizing were important, and I feel like these are things that I need to share with the world. So I still remember one of my more recent plant medicine experiences. I want to think back there's multiple journeys and multiple experiences, and plant medicine has been a beautiful modality, beautiful tool that I've layered with breath work and with meditation and with free journaling and with creative dance and with sound healing to help me become the best version of myself. And to be clear, like life is like an onion, right? You're always going to keep on peeling the onion and find another layer to work on. And self-development, self-growth is a lifelong journey. So I anticipate utilizing plant medicine for the rest of my life for as long as it calls to me, as long as for me internally my intuition tells me that, okay, it's time for you to take this next journey. It's taken me down a lot of different paths. And I think what's interesting is what the public media and the public perceives psychedelics to be like. It hasn't really been my experience. It has amplified colors, it has amplified memories, it has amplified emotions and everything, but it's not like you're walking down the street and seeing pink elephants floating through the sky. I've never had an experience like that, although maybe that does happen. I have seen beautiful things like the water being much more clear, or seeing the way that energy flows through the earth, or see things breathe or things move, or colors being more saturated, more vibrant, but also internally feeling things coming up and processing things or processing traumas without actually having to relive the traumas has been a really interesting use of plant medicine in my perspective. There's been a lot of scientific studies as well showing that plant medicine, when used in a clinical process, has been more impactful for folks with depression, PTSD, and a lot of other mental health issues that are chronic in entrepreneurs. And for me, like if I look back in my journey over the last, I would say 2-3 years with plant medicine, it's really helped me see a different facet of the world. It's helped me see a different facet of who I am as a human, but also in my interconnectedness with others. That's probably the biggest benefit of utilizing plant medicine in a ceremonial aspect, is your realization of how interconnected we all are to nature, to ourselves, to each other. I can't really come up with a definitive, here's the best story I've ever experienced type of plant medicine thing. But there's been a lot of times when I would drop in and then I would process and remember a child experience that I had that either brought me joy or sadness. Or there's been a time where the emotions of sadness and joy would be so intermixed in between each other that the realization for me that emotions is just an expression of energy. Sadness, joy, anger, all these things are all these beautiful expressions, but they're all forms of energy. And then the delineating line between each other are all relatively about the same. But what I wanted to share is that psychedelics, utilization of things like ayahuasca or psilocybin or DMT and all these other things are to be utilized as tools to help you remember who you're supposed to be. There are folks out there that take it in a recreational context. And again, I don't recommend it because these are sacred plant medicines that have ancestral lineages that go back millennia, that have helped mankind grow and evolve as a person. And I like to treat things like this plant medicine like this, with a great deal of respect and reverence, because they are very powerful. And they can, if not used in the right context, really put you in a bad place or be putting you in a beautiful place, depending on where you are mentally or where you are emotionally. And I've heard stories going both different ways. But I just wanted to share this, as I've been going through this journey on my own and facilitating plant medicine ceremonies for other folks. I just want to kind of share this knowledge to let you know that, hey, even somebody as logical and as buttoned up as a tax and accounting person has been able to utilize plant medicine in a positive and productive way to help me grow my business and improve myself as a human being. And I mean, I'm obviously not like your traditional woo-woo hippie holding crystals, although I love crystals. I'm a normal guy, right, that has utilized plant medicine in a sacred, respectful, and intentional fashion. So I just wanted to kind of share that experience with you, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you utilized plant medicines before? Have you utilized or psilocybin or DMT or any type of medicine? I would love to hear your perspective in the comment section below. I want to have this as an open conversation to let people know and feel safe that this is an option, this is a way, this is a modality to help you remember who you're destined to be, who you're supposed to be, and also help you develop into becoming the ultimate version of yourself. And I make videos up here on YouTube on a weekly basis. I would love to hear from you. Put your comments, questions in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're new here. And with that said, I'll see you again soon. Take care. Peace.